guys. Got in pretty late last night. This is how cold it got last night. Glad I have an extra pair of socks and I don't have to wear these today. I've only had a few friends to join me for a little party poop. So the shin is feeling better. It's stable, not any worse than yesterday. And I'm gonna stick to the plan of altering my route, so I'm doing 30-kilometer days for the next few days. And that way I can kind of spend less time on it. So that's like 3 or 4 hours of less hiking every day, which is probably better for it healing, as well as I can take my time, eat breakfast at camp, eat lunch, dry out my gear if it's nice and sunny, which is gonna be really nice. For breakfast today, I have this lemon berry granola breakfast by Alpenfuel. I saved these Alpenfuel granolas for later in the trip when I figured I'd start getting sick of my homemade oatmeal, and they're great. I've had a few of them already and definitely my favorite breakfast. Just like look at all this yummy goodness in there. Yeah, really looking forward just to sitting down and having this by the river. And we're on the trail. I'm really glad I got to stick around camp a little bit. Met Darren, who follows the channel and is doing his longest solo backpacking trip yet at 5 days. He just started getting into solo backpacking and backpacking in general a couple of years ago. So awesome to see him out there. He said the channel has helped him out quite a bit with just getting out on solo backpacking trips. And something we were chatting about was he really eased into it, which is definitely the way to go. So smart approach, starting off with an overnighter and just somewhere familiar and just kind of building up to a pretty big 5-day trip that he's doing. Really impressive. So yeah, and I met quite a few people who follow the channel. It's been really cool every single time. It kind of just still blows me away that there's people just like out in the backcountry that know who I am because of my YouTube channel, and everyone's just been super nice, super fun to chat to, and yeah, hopefully I get to meet more of you. While chatting with Darren, we use this term moving the needle as it relates to backpacking and backcountry confidence. And it got me thinking about my goals for the Great Divide Trail, with one of them being to push my limits and challenge myself. And I think moving the needle is actually a much better term to use, because it's all about those little daily incremental changes that are slowly moving the needle for my backcountry and backpacking confidence. And that's really what I'm gonna get out of this trip. It's not so much there's not gonna be one huge needle shift from when I finish the trail. It's those daily little things that add up and are building my confidence and experience in the backcountry. And that was just kind of a really refreshing, kind of unique way to look at it. And it means that I don't need to be out here for the full 38 days. And you don't either. You could go out on a weekend trip, overnighter, and be moving that needle for yourself. And I think that's what it's all about. I don't think everyone needs to do a through hike. And for this is kind of just what worked out for me. But if you're looking to move that needle, then just get out, backpack, and slowly push your limits. Darren was telling me about how on his very first day of this trip, it snowed a whole bunch, and he was a little bit hesitant to continue on with the trip, but he got out there, got after it, and moved the needle for himself. So next time he sees snow in the forecast for a trip, he won't be quite as hesitant. He'll have built that confidence, and he'll be able to get out into the backcountry and enjoy the outdoors. And I think that's what moving the needle is all about. It's just making it so that you're not quite as limited with regards to enjoying the outdoors, because it's not always sunshines and rainbows. And if you can get out, have fun in more conditions, then that's what it's all about. I just want to give a shout out to trekking poles as the gear of the day. They've been invaluable for me with this shin injury, especially going downhill. That's when the shin hurts the most, so the trekking poles really help with that. They've helped me just go longer distances for the rest of the trail as well. And they keep my tent up, which is really important. It doesn't really matter what trekking poles you have. I think the Cascade Mountain Tech ones from Costco, or you can pick up on Amazon as well, are some of the best steel out there. They're really durable. They work really well. Just don't use them in winter because they might break then. But yeah, trekking poles. I don't know how people hike without them. Dave man. Fighter of the night, man. Champion of the sun. Master of karate and friendship for everyone. I really hope these clouds either blow over or burn off. We maybe get some of the sunshine that you see a little bit more south there, because all my gear is really wet from moisture and condensation because it was so cold last night. I could really use the sunshine in order to lay my gear out, take some time, dry it off so that I'm not cold tonight. Because if I go to bed tonight with wet gear, I'm going to be really cold, especially if temps get below freezing again. Found a good little spot for lunch. Gonna do a little dry sesh. We should have the sun for a little bit here, and hopefully get everything dried off, because especially the tent, it's very wet, and then my quilt is also has a lot of condensation moisture in it. So there is a big moose just off trail up ahead. It saw me, but didn't seem to care too much. I backed down the trail because the trail gets really close to it. Moose can be more dangerous than bears. They can be very, very aggressive. So gonna try and see what I can do here. May just poke my head around again, see if it's moved on, and may have to just bushwhack through these trees to get around it. There he is, right through there. Pretty little guy, doesn't seem to care about me too much. A part of the trail in the national park that Parks Canada has abandoned trail maintenance on, so a lot of river crossings without bridges, or bridges that look like this, and then overgrown trail once you get onto the trail. So I made it to the top of Maligne Pass. This is the highest point of the day. Really nice spot with the lake there. And this is where the split happens. If I was going to be doing my normal itinerary, I'd be doing the 6-pass alternate route, which would involve heading up over that little gap right there and then pass hopping for six passes. As it stands, I'm going to be doing the Maligne Valley route, which is much less elevation gain and loss, which goes down that way. And because of that switch, not only do I have less elevation to go up and then down, the downs are really what kill the shin, I also overall will have less mileage to do each day. Apparently, there's quite a bit of willow whacking down there. It's pretty overgrown, but that's okay. I think it'll be worth it in the end. We're gonna just head on down and get to camp and do some stuff around there. Made it to camp, got a nice picnic table to sit at. Not a ton of flat spots to set up my tent, but I did see a couple. A big thing that I'm gonna do, because it's 5 o'clock, so I got here super early, way better than the 9:30 that I've been arriving at for the other campsites. I'm gonna make sure I get a really good stretch in, and then Jesse gave me some tips for my shin splints. He said that kind of go into the groove on the side of your leg and just massage. He says there's usually a nerve that's been irritated, and that's what's causing the shin splints. So I'm going to be just really massaging in there, massaging as much as I can, not right on the shin splint, but everywhere around it, trying to loosen things up. He said that when he's been doing that, he's relieved the shin splints in 3 days. So that's the goal. But first, we're going to set up the tent, get everything inside, because you never really know when it's going to rain or snow in the Rocky Mountains. And then, of course, just after I get my tent set up, I jinxed it 100%. It starts raining. That's okay. We're going to ride out the rain, maybe boil water in the vestibule, then go eat dinner underneath a tree. Tomorrow, we have the start of the epic Skyline Trail. So that's going to be 2 parts. I'm going to be doing part of it tomorrow and then part of it the next day. But before we even get to the Skyline, we have a lot of shrubs to plow through. Apparently, it's going to be a pretty crazy morning and then potentially an epic afternoon.